Sometimes my head gets all clogged up. Too much to do, I can't keep anything straight. I owe everybody money, and on top of that, traffic sucks, today is horrible, and there's never enough time for anything. At these times I wonder, is this really what it means to be alive? One of the things I do with my time is run. I probably started because I thought I'd get a six-pack or superpowers or something. Well, none of the above. But I've been running marathons for 3 years now, and it's changed how I've come to look at life. I was so intrigued by running that this year I joined the world of ultramarathoners. In May, I ran my first 50-mile race. In many ways, it was objectively horrible. You might have guessed that. You're probably thinking, well, duh, I don't even like to drive 50 miles. Sure, it was a gorgeous day and the course was beautiful, but soon enough it was in the 80s and there were all these horrible hills. My legs started cramping, my stomach was upset, my ears plugged up, and I still had 20 miles to go. I'm never running again, I promised myself. Never. But amidst these circumstances, I realized something really profound. I turned within, and I asked myself what I wanted. Normally, when I think about this question, I come up with things like, I want to find meaningful work. I want to pay off my loans. Or I want to spend time with really good friends and have meaningful relationships. And those things only come up if I'm in a really introspective mood. Normally, I don't think of those things. My wants are more like, I want to take a nap right now. I want a donut. I want to go home. More chocolate cake. I want so-and-so to answer my email. Oh, I want a new pair of jeans. Or more time to paint. Or read. Oh, I just love reading. But when I was running this 50-miler, I didn't want any of those things. In fact, there was only one thing I wanted in the whole wide world, something I never would have thought of in any other circumstances, something so simple, and it just happens you're probably taking it for granted right now. All I wanted, honest to God, was to sit down. How about that? That ultramarathon took me to a place where the only thing I could think of that I wanted in the world was to have a seat. Something that was so easy to do. Seriously, if you came up to me then and offered to pay off all my loans, buy me all the books on my Amazon wish list, find me some really fulfilling job, I wouldn't have cared. I didn't want any of that stuff. All I wanted was to sit down. Was that really so much to ask? When I finished, a little over 10 hours, I did get to sit down, and it was the most glorious seat I had ever taken, because it was something that I'd wanted for so long, and it was such a simple, real, immediate, human thing to need. There's a few other things like that. Food, water, shelter. To need those things is what it means to be alive. But nowadays, we think we need to do things like read BuzzFeed. Sure, that's part of civilization, but we shouldn't make the mistake of thinking that that's what life is. That's not what life is. And what would be really sad is to get to age 97 and suddenly realize on your deathbed that this thing you thought was real life this whole time was actually just your iPhone. I know this on an intellectual level, but sometimes even I get sucked up in my to-do list, and I end up on BuzzFeed because, God forbid, I miss out on the true story behind the latest 17 most touching baby panda pictures. When this happens to me, I think about wild animals. You know, most of our daily stress comes from domestic life. We are domesticated humans. We've domesticated ourselves, and that's part of the root of our stress and our anxiety. So, the question is, how do we undomesticate ourselves? At least some of the time. How do we remember what real life is? Is ultra running the way to do that? I mean, I love ultra running, and it works for me. It might even work for you if you gave it a try, but it's definitely not for everyone. Going for a 20-mile run every Sunday can't be the only way to find out what real life is. But luckily enough, I found something that works for me to get perspective, even when I'm not running. And just like my deep desire to sit down during that race, it's so incredibly simple. There's just one easy step. Go outside. That's all there is to it. Once in a while, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed or down, shut off your computer, put away your phone, and go outside. Go with a friend or go alone. Talk about real things, like how beautiful the sky is, or don't talk at all. Look around. Just be in nature and realize that what we think of as life is actually just this extra layer on top of life. We spend so much time and so much energy worrying about things that won't matter a week from now. And when we do that, we distance ourselves from real life. So go outside, and be in nature, and think about what you want. In that moment, what you really want. You may be surprised because quite often, when we're really living, we don't actually want anything. Or maybe all you really want is to sit down.